Hi, y'all. Welcome to week 2 of Camp Holiday Camp in a Box. I'm Miss Faith. You might have been returning from week 1 or you might be new. Either way, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello. Happy July. I'm so excited to sit down with you guys for another soft skills video. We have another task or activity we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk all about how our soft skills play in that we talked about before camp, like all the way back in like March and April and May and June. So, with that being said, I want to go ahead and share my screen with you guys so that you can see what our topic is. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am, because I know I am super excited. Let's see. All right, here we go. So guys, today we are going to be talking about getting a job. So I know a lot of you guys are about the age where you should be looking at getting a job, or it's coming up in a few years. Whatever the case may be, I think it is always a good time to talk about getting a job and what that looks like for us. So that's what we're going to be talking about today for our first video of week 2. So let's go ahead and see. So we're going to be talking about 3 things in particular during today's video. We are going to be talking about why it's important. Why is getting a job important? We're going to be talking about the steps to getting a job, because that's the main meat of what I want to talk about today. I want you guys to know exactly what steps you need to take to be able to be successful in getting a job. And then we're going to talk about those soft skills that relate. Remember, Miss Faith is all about those soft skills, so we have to talk about those soft skills towards the end. And then I might tell you guys what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday, maybe some reminders, all that good stuff. So first, let's talk a little bit about why is it important? Why is it important to get a job? So getting a job is important because it will allow you to be more independent. And I think me now as an adult, you guys as you're getting older and becoming adults, and some of you are already adults, it is important to be independent. It makes you feel good. You're at that age where you want your independence and you have your own likes and dislikes and hobbies and all that good stuff. So being independent is super important for all of us, and a job will help us get some of that independence that we want. And then the next reason is getting a job is important because you'll make money for the things you need and want. Maybe you need money for groceries when you start to become an adult, and maybe you live more on your own, or bills you have to pay. Maybe your family is wanting you to start paying for your cell phone, and that money will the money you make from your job will allow you to be able to pay for those things. But it'll also give you money for the things you want, like new clothes or new makeup or new sports equipment, or going to the movies with a friend once it is all safe to do those kinds of activities. So it's important because you'll get that independence we all want, and you'll be able to make money for all those good things we need and want. So getting a job is so super important for those 2 reasons, and that's why I decided for us to talk about it today. So the main thing we're going to be talking about is the steps to getting a job. And it's also called a task analysis. I wrote a little task analysis of what to do to get a job. And a task analysis is just a fancy term for steps. So we're going to go step by step what to do for you to get a job. So our first thing we have to do, number 1, is we have to decide what kind of job you'd want to have. There are so many different kinds of jobs. You can't start looking for a job unless you know kind of what kind of job you want to have. You have to have an idea of the kind of job before you go filling out applications, because you'll find so many job openings and it'll be overwhelming. You won't know where to start, and it just won't be a successful experience. So the first thing you'll need to do is decide what kind of job you would like to have. And something that really helps with that, sometimes a job inventory will help. So a job inventory is basically, you can look at it'll to ask you questions of your likes and dislikes to help you narrow down jobs, or it might even just be, I know in my classroom I did a class job inventory where we just circled the different jobs we thought we would like. So job inventories can be a little bit more specific in the skills you need for that job, or it can just be a list of jobs that you might circle. But I have some examples that I think could help us nail down some jobs you might like to have. I wrote my own little job inventory, if you will, or some questions we can think about for this first step if we're getting ready to start looking for a job. So number one, so this first one, do you like to talk to people? You could be a cashier at any kind of store. Or always talks to people, helps them with their items. So if you like to talk to people, maybe being a cashier is a job you might look into. Our next one, do you like to organize? You could stock shelves. If you really like to make sure all your stuff is all neat and tidy and put away and organized, you could maybe stock shelves at a grocery store or a big box store or all that good stuff. The next one, do you like to clean? You could help clean a lot of different places. A lot of places need help with maintenance and cleaning and all that stuff. So if you like to clean, that could be a job you could be interested in. The last one is, do you like food? You could work at a restaurant. Like, restaurants have a ton of food. You won't necessarily get to eat it while you're working, but it might be fun to be around the food, around the people eating the food, getting to help people with the food, all that good stuff. So those are some questions, or kind of like a mini job inventory that you could think about as you're deciding what kind of job you would like. And then number two, once you have decided what kind of job you'd like to have, number two is you have to find places hiring for the job or jobs you would be interested in. So if you know what kind of job you'd like to have, then you have to find places that are hiring, because you can't really fill out an application or get a job somewhere if they're not hiring or if they don't have an open position. So that's a really important step, is finding places that are hiring for the jobs you'd be interested in. And so I want to use some examples we talked about our job inventory, like cashiers, stocking shelves, people who clean and help with maintenance, and also people that work at restaurants. So I want to show you some examples of places that would hire those cashiers that you can look at to help you figure out if they're hiring or not, or help you find a job. So like our first one, Walmart hires cashiers. If you want to be a cashier, maybe you look at the closest Walmart to your house and see if they're hiring. The next one, Target hires people to stock shelves. I know a lot of us love Target. Target hires people to stock their shelves and organize merchandise and items they're selling. So if you're interested in stocking shelves, maybe you look at the Target closest to your house and see if they're hiring. Hospitals hire people to clean. So if you are interested in potentially cleaning, maybe looking into the hospital is a good place to see if they're hiring. And then Outback hires hosts and hostesses. Hosts and hostesses are people that take you to your table and seat you at a restaurant, not a waiter or waitress. But Outback hires hosts and hostesses. Outback Steakhouse, if you've ever been. So that could, if you have one close to your house, maybe that's somewhere you could look. But there's so many more places that hire these types of jobs than just like Walmart, Target, hospitals, and Outback. But those were just some examples to give you guys some ideas. If you know of a different restaurant, maybe Red Lobster is hiring, you could be a host at Red Lobster. Or you could be a cashier at Target instead of Walmart. Or there's so many different places. These were just some examples to show you the types of places to look to see if they're hiring. And if they're hiring for the job you want, that's awesome. Then you can keep going in this process. So step number 3 would be fill out an application. So an application is going to be all about you to tell the place or the company everything they need to know before they hire you. It's like if you see in our little visual, you'll put your name, your address, your phone number. You'll put references if there's anyone that can talk to the company about what you're capable of and what awesome person you are. You can put references down. They might ask you questions specific about the job, like when would you be able to start? Why are you interested in this job? What kind of salary would you be looking for? Are you interested in working full-time or part-time? So filling out an application is all kinds of questions you'll answer and turn into the company. And that would be the next step in finding a job. So once you have your application turned in, you will go on an interview if asked for one. So once they collect your application, if they think your application looks good, so the application is important because they decide based on the application if you get an interview. So make sure you do a good job on your application. But once you go on the interview, an interview lately because of COVID-19, they've been on Zoom or on the computer, but they can be on the computer, maybe over the phone, or even in person. And the interview asks you additional questions or more questions than what the application had, and sometimes even more specific questions. It might ask you what your strengths are, what you think your weaknesses are. They might ask you how you handle working with other coworkers. Sometimes they give you scenarios, or they'll give you something that could happen, and you have to explain to them how you would handle it or how you would respond. And it's really just for the person that will most likely be your boss to get to know you better, to make sure you'd be a good fit. So you really want to do a good job on the interviews. Be professional, dress nice, make sure you talk really highly of yourself and you're really positive, and really highlight everything you are good at and make sure you tell them all the reasons why you would be a good employee at their company. So that would be the next step, would be going on that interview. So once you've gone on that interview, the next is you can follow up with after the interview and wait to hear back. So when I'm applying for a job, I'll typically send them, the person I interviewed with, an email that just says, thank you very much for meeting with me. I appreciate you listening to me, and I am looking forward to hear back from you. So when you follow up and let them know that you appreciated the interview, it makes them remember you again, and it also helps you look professional and positive and also eager to work for them. So following up after the interview is usually a good idea when you get the job. And then the next piece of this is you have to wait to hear back. Often they'll either call you or interview or email you about whether they want to hire you or not. So after the interview and you've sent that little follow-up, it's really just a waiting game. You have to be patient and give them a chance to make their decision. And a lot of times in the interview, they will tell you how long they expect to take in making a decision. So you'll get kind of a time frame of how long you'll have to wait usually. And that would be the final step. And then after, while you wait, you'll either find out that you got the job, which is awesome, yay, or if you find out that they decide to hire someone else, you can keep looking for another job. And I know you guys are all awesome, and if you did keep looking for a job, you would definitely find a good fit for you. So now that we're done with those little 5 steps I have for getting a job, I kind of want to go back over them quickly one more time. So our steps to getting a job are: decide what kind of job you'd like to have, find places hiring for the job or jobs you would be interested in, fill out an application, go on the interview if asked for one, and then 5, follow up after the interview and wait to hear back. So those are my 5 steps to getting a job that I hope will help you guys out. But now, I know you guys are thinking, Miss Faith, what about our soft skills? Which soft skills play into this process and this task analysis? And I'm about to tell you guys. So our soft skills are, our first one is persistence. Like I mentioned, you might not get the first job you apply for. So that persistence and continue to fill out applications, look for places that are hiring, go on interviews, be diligent in the steps, in the process of getting a job is really important to being successful. So we want to be persistent and make sure we're going to keep going, even if it gets a little difficult or time consuming. So that's our first one, persistence. Then our next one is advocacy. I know this one we haven't really talked about much recently, but advocacy is all about standing up for what is right, standing up for what you believe in, and speaking up. So for me, I think advocacy is important in getting a job because during your interview, your application, your interview, you're going to want to advocate for yourself, and you want to speak up and show what your good qualities are and why you deserve the job. But it's also important to advocate for yourself in your application and your interview if you're going to need a little extra support in that job. You want to make sure you are advocating for what you need to be successful, even in that process before you even get the job. So I think that advocacy is our next one that's super important. And also some problem solving. We might run into some roadblocks while looking for a job that requires some problem solving. We might get asked a question in an interview that requires some problem solving. And then when we get into a job, almost every job needs some problem solving. So having those problem solving skills and practicing them while we're in the process of getting a job is also important. So our third one would be problem solving. So I think those soft skills that we need to focus on while getting a job is that persistence, that advocacy, and problem solving. But you could even add flexibility in there because you need to be flexible and willing to go with the flow with a new employer, right? So many soft skills play into getting a job. So now, next, I think I am going to announce what we'll do on Wednesday now that we've finished talking about getting a job. I hope you enjoyed it and all the good stuff, but I'm going to flip my slide and show you guys what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. I hope you guys get excited. So on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about what to do in an emergency. So that's super important for all of us, and that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. So I hope once you finish watching this video, you're all excited for Wednesday. I know I'm excited for Wednesday, and make sure you turn into that video as well. But before I leave you, watch the old videos on the DSA Facebook so that if you've missed any of the soft skills videos I did before camp, because those will help you while we sit and talk about camp, our lessons during camp. Our old videos will be super awesome for you. It'll be more content for you guys to watch. It'll be awesome. And don't forget to have fun. I know you guys are awesome. I know you guys are going to do great. as you go on to go through the process of getting a job at some point. And with the other activities and videos in camp, I just want you guys to have a blast and have fun. So I'm going to stop sharing real quick so I can you guys can see me better. And I just hope you guys have an awesome rest of week 2. And I'll see you guys in a new video on Wednesday. Bye, guys.